This is Hirsh Singh, Republican U.S. Senate candidate for New Jersey. What we're seeing in New Jersey right now is the start of a Republican resurgence. In 2019, Republicans won every battleground race in this state. We are set up this year to not only retake 3 to 4 congressional seats on top of the 2 we already have, but also take Cory Booker and throw him out of politics for good. I come from a long line of public servants. In recent history, I would start with my great-grandfather, who was a World War II hero. He fought in the British Army, which defeated General Rommel in North Africa and helped liberate Italy and the East Coast when Eisenhower was liberating the West Coast. Both my grandfathers were members of Parliament, public servants themselves, one equivalent to a U.S. Senator, the other equivalent to a U.S. Congressman. And leaders, I think, get attracted to try and solving big problems. My entire life, I've been attracted to trying to solve problems. I've always taken lead whenever we're in groups of people. And I like people, and if you want something done right, you just have to do it yourself. And now is our time to really take New Jersey in the right direction. When you see Republican-run states, Republican leadership, there are better results for the people. And that's really what we have a problem with right now. We really need Republican leadership to fix all the damage which is being done. I think that one thing that is very clear is that President Trump, through uncharted territory, we are in completely uncharted territory, has shown some of the greatest leadership capability that this country has ever had. And he is navigating with lots of misinformation. He's navigating through lots of unknowns, and he's handling it better than I think anyone has ever seen. I actually think that President Trump, if anything, exudes the best of what America has, because he has been responsible for the greatest economic surge this country has ever seen. And you know what? He did it once, he's gonna do it again, and I wanna help him make it happen, and I wanna help him make it happen in New Jersey. China has been long known as a currency manipulator. They've been stealing intellectual property across the entire world. I think that what we're seeing today is the continuation of Chinese expansionist policy, which is detrimental to world peace, world trade, and people say that COVID-19 was bioengineered. What we don't know is, was it released intentionally or not? And there are many countries around the world that say that this was an intentional release by the Chinese government. And if that's true, then they need to be held accountable. So I think that China is really the biggest threat to America right now. And they really need to be handled, because they need to stop their currency manipulation, and they really need to start working with it. But the leaders of China are the problem, not the people. We love the people, like all people that want freedom, that want the best for their families. But the Chinese leadership, you're causing a lot of problems, and it's not going to stand. Everyone across the entire political spectrum saw what happened to George Floyd and said, I don't know all the details, but that is wrong. It actually brought America together. And people have the right to peaceably assemble and to protest. But protesters are not who are doing the rioting. Protesters are not the ones doing the looting. These are anarchists. These are far left-wing extremists. If there is one thing that we have seen through this entire phase of Antifa co-opting the Black Lives Matter protests, people being injured, attacked, murdered, law enforcement being attacked and murdered, all arguments against having a fully protected Second Amendment have gone out the window. We have seen numerous videos where places where the Second Amendment existed, business owners were able to protect their property. Looters were driven away. But where people very genuinely tried to protect their businesses and they were not able to defend their loved ones or their families, they were beaten. They were completely attacked. There is no way that anyone can make an argument for limiting someone's Second Amendment. We must allow for concealed carry because no one needs to know if you're able to protect yourself. We must allow for people to freely decide how they want to protect themselves and their loved ones. That's the very fundamental aspect of the Second Amendment, and it's the Second Amendment because the only thing more important than that is free expression. And I think that we must make sure the Second Amendment is protected not only in New Jersey, but across this entire great nation. I'm an engineer. In other words, I'm a trained problem solver. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs as well. In fact, my father started a company in our garage 25 years ago, and over that time, he has turned it into a very successful small business. We have hundreds of people across the country helping us solve some of our most advanced technical problems. We've worked in the areas of missile defense, satellite navigation, aviation safety, and security. Little things here and there that have added up to a lot of contributions to America's superiority. And in that light, they have been job creators. If you have someone who understands the fundamentals of making a business successful, the fundamentals of making sure that we try and grow our economy by providing jobs, by creating jobs, by being innovative in our approach, you will have someone that will be a perfect partner with business in New Jersey. If you send me to the US Senate, we're going to have another jobs surge in New Jersey. I'm focused on making sure we bring manufacturing back to our state. And the way we're going to do that is by cutting out regulations and forcing New Jersey local politicians to lower the cost of manufacturing. We used to have a strong and budding steel industry. We've had massive number of inventions that have come from New Jersey. We have been in the innovation center for many, many decades. That has slightly dried up because of leadership that we've had in this state. I think that if you allow me to the US Senate, we're going to have someone who's going to bring that industry back. Our pharmaceutical industry is actually one of the main backbones of our state, and you need someone who's going to advocate for them to bring their manufacturing back to our state. I really think that if you bring manufacturing into New Jersey, you're going to further reduce unemployment. President Trump has done magic for this country by lowering unemployment to such a degree that it's even overcome Phil Murphy's communistic ways. But if you have someone in leadership who's really dedicated to New Jersey, we'll be able to cut the right deals that we need so that we get the investment in our infrastructure so that companies don't leave New Jersey. That's the biggest problem right now. Some of the best companies in the world are headquartered here, but they're leaving, and they're leaving because of the extremely high taxes as well as nonsensical regulations put into place by politicians that should not be in politics. Sending me will start the surge of the next generation of Republican leadership, which is necessary to really help fix our country and our state. I want New Jersey to be a state that people want to live in. I want it to not be a state that people want to leave. Right now, too many students, they graduate from college, from one of our great institutions like Stevens Institute, NJIT, Rutgers, Princeton, Drew. I mean, we have so many schools, it's actually in the hundreds. But we produce some of the most intelligent students and actually creators, the engineers, the facilitators in this country. But when they graduate, they then leave because it's just so expensive that we don't have enough openings for people to start businesses, to get starting jobs. And I think that you would want someone who actually understands that and wants to really make New Jersey a place to live in and not just leave. If you give me a chance to serve you, you're going to get a huge dynamic shift in the way New Jersey operates. We're rooting out corruption and we're making this place to live, not leave. So if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. We've always heard that statement. Nothing is more true than making this country and this state an environment that we want to raise a family in, that we want to live inside. It's the silence of individuals that has more of a negative impact when decisions need to be made. And a lot of people see how ugly it can get in politics. Well, if you want something to be done, you have to fight for it. And I really think that what we're seeing today is kind of a resurgence of youth being involved in politics. Most of the politicians that we're seeing on TV, they've been in power for 30, 40 years. President Trump, who's getting all the blame for everything, even though he's the one leading the right way, has only been in power for 3.5 years. If you're getting this message, you need to get involved. You should be either joining campaigns, preparing to run for office yourself, or actually collaborating, because this is the time for really the explosion of people that are dedicated to having a good government at the local level as well as at the federal level. And so if you're interested in actually running for office, I would ask for you to get in touch with me. I mean, my cell phone number is on Facebook. If I miss your call, I'll get back to you. Literally, get involved, get in touch, because our slogan in New Jersey is liberty and prosperity, and it is through liberty that we will achieve prosperity. If you are a registered voter in New Jersey, you've probably already received your ballot by now. The official deadline for turning in your ballot is July 7th, and I would ask you that you make sure you vote. Make sure you vote, and make sure you get every single person you know to vote. July 7th will not be the day, most likely, we're going to get the results. Due to the executive order of Phil Murphy, there's going to be about a 7-day delay after elections to gather all mailed-in ballots. So, I would just ask you to understand that even though we can all agree that voting by mail is something we don't like, we don't want to do, if you go to the polls and you vote by a provisional ballot, it won't count the night of the election. But if however you do it, whether you go to the polls, whether you turn in a vote by mail, vote for Hirsh Singh July 7th, and let's get this state to go in the right direction. Let's make sure you send someone to DC who's fighting for you, for the people. This is Hirsh Singh, and I'm the guy fighting for you.